Hey everybody, my name is Jeff. Welcome to the channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about the international shipping program and why I chose to opt out for good today. It was based on a conversation that I had with a representative today that gave me some insight that I hadn't really considered, and what prompted it was an offer that I got on a patch, like a patch that you sew onto your jacket. So let me just tell the story, and then I'll explain why it's not right for me, why it might not be right for you, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I had a patch. I had a listing that was a multi-item order. So there were like 9 different patches and the prices per patch. And the listing was right around $9. So $9 for any of the patches that are on this listing. So the guy makes an offer for $5, and I was like, so he's in England. So I countered at 9. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, you know, if you want this item, I'm not going to do any better discount, because you've probably looked around, you've probably weighed shipping with other, maybe mine was the only one out there, and I'm just like, I'm not going to do any lower just so you can have it shipped internationally. Like, that's kind of like my reasoning. So he counters back at 7, and he's like, hi, I'm really excited to purchase this, and can you do any better on the shipping and handling? So if you're unfamiliar with how the shipping program, the international shipping program works, which you're probably not if you're watching this video, whatever your domestic shipping and handling is, that's what it costs me. Now, I don't see how much they're paying for the whole shipping and handling to get shipped to them, but I charge $4 to ship this patch to, in this instance, the eBay hub, and then they from there ship it to England. So it got me thinking, how can I lower the shipping and handling? Because I don't know how much they're being charged. So I get on the phone with eBay. I had an awesome representative. She was very informative. She was very eager to answer my questions. And it shed some insight into how, let's just say how eBay is actually using this system to actually profit in this instance. So let me back up. The way I have always run my business up until I joined the international shipping program is I've never offered international shipping. So I never had to deal with that. Now, there are instances where a buyer will contact me and they'll be like, I'm interested in purchasing this. Can you ship it to me, and how much? So at that point, I usually get their address, and I usually give them like my best shipping price. I can actually ship things pretty cheaply. So I put a price in for domestic. I put a price in for domestic in Canada because I'm right on the border, so I can get good and cheap shipping to both. So I have never put, when I'm doing my listings, I have never put the weight of the item, and I have never put the dimensions of the item. So it got me thinking, how does eBay know what to charge? Now, to the best of my knowledge, the only reason people would go ahead and weigh and measure their items is if they do use the calculated shipping program. So I guess my first question is, do you guys enter, when you're doing your listings, do you do the weight and the dimensions for every item? I would just find that to be tedious. Like, I have been shipping for 12 years. I've been packaging for 12 years, so I kind of know what things cost to the US and to Canada. Everything else is a bit of a myth. and not mystery. It's a bit of a mystery to me that I have to do case by case. That's why I never did international shipping. So my first question to the eBay representative is, how does eBay know how much to charge? Well, actually, my first question is, how much are you charging this particular customer? So she looked it up, and she goes, based on the location, $18. So I'm thinking to myself, let me understand this. You're charging, so it's basically going to be like a 1 ounce envelope. It's basically like a letter. It's like the cost of a letter. It's probably not even going to be an ounce. So I'm like, so because I don't enter the dimensions in, you're essentially charging them the max rate. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, but it's not going to cost that much to ship it to them. She's like, yes, it's not going to cost that much. I'm like, I'm charging, it's going to cost me $4 that I'm charging. So I get $4 less how much it costs me. It doesn't even cost me $4 to ship it to, Chicago or California, whichever hub it's going to. So I make a little bit of money on the shipping and handling. And so I'm like, if it's not going to cost eBay that much, what happens to that extra money? And she goes, well, I go, do you refund the customer the difference? She goes, no, eBay just keeps it. And I was like, I was mind blown at this point in time, because I'm like, let's say in this instance I accepted the $7 offer, so eBay's going to make 15% on that. It's going to make 3% of if it was a promoted listings, and then it's going to make the difference between what it actually costs to ship it to England, which would probably be in this instance a good $7-8, maybe more. And I was just like, wow. And then it dawned on me, this is why I'm not getting a lot of international shipping orders, because if you're in another country and you're coming to my listings, you're probably getting astronomical shipping quotes. At that point, it was a no-brainer for me. I was like, I got to get out of this. I mean, it's not like I'm getting a slew of international orders anyhow, and I would rather make that difference, because when I originally called, here was my first plan. My first plan was, maybe I will take the listing that he's interested in, add it to my wife's eBay store, which is not involved in the international shipping program, and I could give him, so he was willing to pay 7 plus 18, so he was willing to pay $25 to get this patch if I accepted the $7 offer. I could do it for 20. I mean, I could accept a $7 offer and charge him $13, and he's saving 20% on shipping and handling, so he's probably happy. And then I'm actually making, if I'm charging him $13 shipping and handling and it costs me like $6 or $7 to ship, I'm going to be able to profit that money. I would rather do that. And when I look at it from the customer's experience, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to ship it, to pay to ship it somewhere domestically, and then to pay again to ship it to them. Yes, I get that eBay does all this stuff where they handle issues and the headaches and this and that, but honestly, I've never really had any issues with international shipping. And so when I asked eBay, so I wanted to know if I was allowed to do that. I wanted to know if I was allowed to cancel the order and then relist it on the other eBay store. Because anytime you cancel orders, and I don't want eBay thinking I'm doing anything like off the site. That was not the issue. And the customer service rep, she completely understood what I was doing. eBay would still be making their commission, and she's like, yes, you can do that. So of course I got the reference number for the call just to cover my butt. At that point, I hadn't made up my mind yet, but that I was going to opt out, so I guess it didn't really matter at that point. But yeah, so it doesn't make any sense at all for me to be in the international shipping program, because I'm not getting, it's not like I'm getting a lot of orders anyhow. And it does not make for the best customer experience when they're paying max shipping for me, like, because all my listings do not have dimensions and weight. Maybe other people's do. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I don't want to do that for every listing. Like, I charge a set price for my shipping, a fair price. Like, for example, before all of this, let's say I was not in the international shipping program, and he messaged me and he's like, how much is this going to cost? You know, I would just go and I would check, and I would, you know, basically give him a quote that's, you know, 15 to 20% higher than what I'm actually paying to make up for eBay's fees, which I'm guessing it would probably cost like $8 or $9 to ship this, maybe less. So I mean, I could, in theory, accept a $7 offer and probably charge him $8 or $9, and he would be really happy. Or I could stick to my $9 fee, charge him $7 shipping and handling, and he would be paying $17, which is $8 less than what he's paying now. So I don't know, like, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Is this news to you? Is this does this seem right? You know, if you're using calculated shipping, it's probably not a big deal. It's probably not an issue. Like I said, am I in the minority that I'm one of the few people that aren't doing that? I just, you know, I'm a minimalist. I don't want, like, it's hard enough to list. It's not hard to list, but let's face it, it's the worst part of our job. Well, the worst part's probably dealing with rude customers, but listing is tedious. It takes up time. It's not really fun. So I want to get through it with as little bit of work as possible. Now, if I did upload weights and dimensions, would I get more orders? Probably. But yeah, at this point, I don't think I'm going to change that. So to recap, you can delete and relist the item on another store. That's not an issue. I thought that was a good thing, but if eBay is overcharging people for shipping based on an item, and this I had always wondered how this happened. I had just never really had the right circumstance come through to kind of ask eBay how much they're charging, and then what are the reasons, like how do they determine what they charge. I just found it very eye-opening, and to me it was just like, yeah, there's no point in me being in the international shipping program at this point. I'm not going to change my way. And here's the interesting thing. So I opted out earlier today, and I've had a little bit of a, you know, quite a few orders coming through today, which I'll be showing tomorrow in a video, what sold. Now, one day does not make a trend, and maybe orders will stop the moment I upload this video. Who knows? But yeah, if you have any other questions, maybe I'm forgetting something in our conversation. I generally just kind of like think in my head about what I want to say when I make these videos, and oftentimes I forget things. As soon as I'm going to hit stop, I'm going to be like, oh, I should have mentioned this, or I should have mentioned that. But I think this is really good information, and it can help you decide if the international shipping program is right for you. You know, like I said, if you're using calculated and you're entering in the dimensions, then it's probably right for you. It's at least it's right enough for you to try it and kind of see what your sales are. If you're not, then I believe it's 100% not the best thing to be in, because then there's the whole, you know, well, that's a whole nother topic in terms of like, are our listings being seen if we're in the shipping program versus if we're not. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really see any big difference at all in my international orders. So, you know, the fact that you do open yourself up to zero issues for being in the international shipping program, that's a big reason to not be in it. But, you know, when they introduced it, I thought this sounds pretty good. But now, having had this conversation with this rep and kind of learning a little bit of the nuances and how everything runs, for me, it's just a no-brainer. So let me know what you think, and if you're still watching, I'm guessing you found this video interesting. Please, you know, like, continue subscribing. These are the kinds of things, you know, that you're going to find on this channel. My interactions with eBay, I want to know all the rules. I want to know how everything works, because it helps me decide how I want to run my business. It helps me to better understand what I can do, what I can't do in my business. So I do these, I do, you know, what sold videos, I do haul videos. Basically, every video is a day in the life of what I do as a full-time reseller. So anyhow, thanks for your time, and I hope you found this interesting.